What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Apex, the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special episode for you guys here today with Complexity Kimchi, fresh off of their qualifier, their second qualifier for the BLGS. They come away with the victory. Obviously, a brand new squad. We go in and talk to Kimchi for about an hour, 30 minutes, of just everything. Their split one playoffs, split two playoffs, BLGS and how that's going, roster changes, and we even get a little bit deep into what was going to happen with Complexity for a while there and Kimchi calling his own shot, which I think was just a great story. And I think for a lot of people out there who, you know, are trying to compete in the BLGS right now or want to just succeed in any aspect of their life, hearing what Kimchi has to say about what he took upon himself going into split two playoffs was awesome. It was a great story. It was great to hear. He's one of those guys where you can talk to him forever. The first time we interviewed him, after the interview was done, we probably sat in that room for another hour and 30 minutes just talking about life. And we could have talked longer if we really wanted to. It was just super late, but he's one of those guys that you can talk to for forever. And it's always a great time having him on. It was awesome. It was a great time. Now, obviously, we don't have an intro here. It's just me. I'm just sitting here inside my studio at home, just kind of talking to you guys about what's going to happen on the show. We also have a heart-to-heart as well, just because there's not a whole lot of news. There's no BLGS right now, just scrim stuff and no big roster mania or anything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to round out this intro, hit a quick little ad. We're back with Prize Picks, and we're super excited to be back with Prize Picks. And then after that, we'll get into the Kimchi interview and the heart-to-heart. Thank you guys for tuning in as always, and let's get to the rest of the show. What's up, guys? Wyatt here from the Apex, the podcast, and I am super proud to announce a very special partnership just in time for Apex LAN with Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the most fun I've had playing daily fantasy sports, and it's super simple to use as well. All you do is you go into the Prize Picks app and you can pick from 2 to 6 players on a multitude of different sports and or esports, submit your entry, and you could have it all done in less than 60 seconds. There's so much to love about Prize Picks with quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and a multitude of different selections of players and stats that you can choose from. All that comes together and makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. We know LAN is right around the corner. There's going to be plenty of teams and players that you can choose from. But other than Apex, there's a lot of other sports that you can look at. I've been looking deep into hockey and placing a lot of entries on shots on goal, and I've been having a blast. Go to prizepicks.com/theapex and use code THEAPEX for a first deposit match of up to $100. Once again, go to prizepicks.com/theapex and use code THEAPEX for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. All right, ladies and gents, we've got on a very special guest back for the second time on the show. Complexity Kimchi is back, fresh off of a BLGS qualifier win with the boys over at Complexity, and we've got so much to talk about. Last time we had you on, it was one of my personal favorite interviews. It was a great time having you on last time, so I'm excited to talk about all the new things that have transpired.
You say that to everyone.
No.
Wait,
maybe.
So I'm not special?
No, he is special. One thing I do have to say is I do have to apologize because there was a Twitter interaction back in the day when I was hitting just Kimchi overs left and right on Prize Picks. Shout out Prize Picks. Use code TheApex. And then after that, I was excited. I tweeted out without realizing how I spelled Kimchi's name, spelled it wrong, and it was just it was a bad scene. Hand up, my fault. Spelled your name wrong. My bad. I'm here to say my bad.
Thank you. It's actually surprising how many people, I don't know if it's the Lee part.
Yes,
or what,
that's what got me.
But because in your defense, there are some random bottles of kimchi that spell it where it's after the CH, it's like 2 E's. But 99% of it, and the way I think it's correctly spelled, is how it is here, where it's just CHI. But yeah, I think it's got to be the Lee part. And surprisingly, that last part, which is literally just my last name, is causing a whole lot of grief because I haven't had it in a long time. So I guess they've all figured it out. But people thought I was from Chile. No, I don't look like it. Nothing about me says from Chile. And then, yeah, everyone spells my name with the 2 E's. And I'm just staring at it it's spelled for you on the screen. What's going on? Like
Yeah.
you have the cheat code in front of you. Like the answer key is right there. Come on.
Yeah, it was like I could study for my own test. You know, like when they let you bring, like they're like, all right, you can write down as much as you want on this piece of paper for the study guide, bring it in for the test. I literally had it sitting right there and just instantly just did not do anything. I just saw the two E's. I was like, I'm throwing them in there. So hand
No,
up,
you're
my fault,
good.
my bad. But it leads us to what we've gotten to now, and it's so long since the last time we've had you on, but there has been so much that has transpired, not only with you, but with your team and just a lot of different things going on. I guess before we get into all the specifics of it, how have you been? How have you been feeling? And how does the team feel right now?
Um, it's been great. I mean, I think that's like the best way to put it. Obviously, we just came off of our win in BLGS2, so we're all feeling really good. Um, which is like it just goes to show because like scrims didn't feel great, and a lot of the times it kind of did feel like it was just scrim things that was like the reasoning behind it, and it kind of shows because BLGS just felt completely different. Even our like bad games weren't like 0 pointers. We were just making small silly mistakes here and there that was costing us to die a little early rather than later. And yeah, I mean, like having picked up Enemy feels great. It's kind of funny since he was like one of my first teammates from back in the day, and it's coming full circle, and we're teamed up once again. So yeah, everything is feeling really really good right now.
The Cole Club has finally become legit. I still remember when I was poaching, when I was building up my Vibe Tribe club in the Apex space.
Yeah,
I poached Enemy when he was when he was ripping the Cole
yeah,
tag. I got him for like a day before you stole him back. And then
yeah,
now it's
yeah.
cool to see how going from the complexity club to now joining the org and seeing how well he fits in with Yunmon is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, he's it wasn't I thought it was going to be he was going to be a lot more plug and play, but we're just ironing out like things here and there, especially because we're swapping a lot of things around. Obviously, like one of the biggest things was moving myself to Bangalore and Monsoon onto Newcastle and Maggie, and yeah, having made a lot of big changes and then picking up a new third. We're definitely still having a lot of things that we got to work on, but it's feeling real good so far.
Yeah, you and Enemy go like way back, like I all the way to 2021. When was the first time? Because you guys had like a couple different, pretty funny names there. There's like Dumpers, Excedrin.
Yeah.
Like when was it that you guys like first started teaming way back at that time? Like if you remember which tournament it was.
Shoot. It was I don't even know like cuz like as far as I can remember like tournament wise was originally it was me. Okay, the first team I remember I think it was like me, James Fearless and Enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And I had seen this guy's name. The name was like a huge turnoff because it was spelled so weird. It was Little Enemy VXD, like with like every other word or other letter capitalized. And I was looking, I was like, dude, like there's no way this like just the name alone screams I am bad or something. Who I don't know. That is a weird name. But I asked James, I said, hey, have you heard of this kid? Like, isn't he good? James was like, yeah, he's a solid kid. So we played with him. And then I remember we like the first tournaments I can really remember is like it was me, Enemy, and Capra in CC, and we were just like dominating CC. Then it was Capra out in full Z, and we were still doing really well. And then it was, I believe, the three of us playing in Series E.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, we had played all through that, and then Enemy had left for I like we had done so well through all of CC, and then like the one and this like is what kind of annoys me. I think we had won like two CC days or like weekends or whatever. We're like top points and everything. Then we go into like the finals, and I just had like the worst day of my life. Like it was just a bad day for me. And then that just like knocked us out. but then Enemy had ended up joining Hill.
The team that went on to go become like Oxygen, like that
Yeah.
first Oxygen roster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enoch. No.
No. What happened?
No.
What happened, Enoch? He's gone. Oh
Not a-
no.
We're keeping this all in, by the way.
This guy's
Nothing.
yapping. I'm out. Just dip.
Yeah.
He's like, I've
Yeah.
had enough of fucking hearing about Enemy.
I don't want to hear about none of
No.
this baloney.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Why though?
I don't know. This has never happened before for you.
Enoch, if you hate me, it's all
But
good.
why,
I know you like
though?
asked if I hop on and stuff, but like if you don't, no.
Never.
That doesn't hurt my feelings. If you want to just dip,
I'm really just
be
trying
Jumbo
to
and White,
dodge.
and just knock it out real quick and be on our merry way, bro.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Might
I would try
have
that.
to. Hold up.
Keep it. Don't end
Or
it.
should
White.
I
Keep it
Don't
rolling.
end it.
leave and
No,
come
because
back?
like as long as you download the
Okay.
if you download the proper like file that says like aligned audios, it should keep the recording all set when you edit it. Should be fine.
There he is.
All right.
He's back.
I am just gonna deal with the shitty camera settings, and I'm not even gonna open OBS because apparently it's
Okay,
not
there you
happening.
go. Yeah, not today. Not today. But you were talking about Enemy. Was that your final squad that you guys were together on?
Yeah, once that was the last time we had played together. Was like Series E, CC, way back in the day. Yeah, once he went to go join, I believe it was Hill and Crook, and like Jumba said, went on to become the Oakshi squad. That was the last time I'd played with him, and then yeah, all those years passed by, and now we're here.
Yeah, that full circle though, full circle back, and like we said, already winning things again. Huh.
Yeah, it was that felt pretty good. Funniest bit was thinking we right before Monsoon we had and I'm actually curious to see because I keep asking him. I don't agree with him, but we had a choice between landing Bean and Devastated Coast for Storm Point, and it was on the team. The general consensus was we like Devastated Coast better, and Mon really wanted Bean, and Enemy hit us with Enemy says some like silly things here and there, and he just randomly just sends like as we're like kind of like going back and forth in our chat together about it. He says, "I personally think that we can win from any POI." And then we ended up winning. So Enemy, I guess, maybe spoke into existence a little bit with his silliness.
His positive speak.
Yeah.
He always is a pretty happy dude. Like like we were big fans of that DSG squad here, and I think the dynamic was always pretty funny because like even Timmy's not a very like angry dude, but Timmy and Design are so like hyperactive. They're like always like so like just shouting everything, and then Enemy was just there like quietly like trying to be positive in the corner the entire time. Great
Yeah.
guy. Love seeing him part of the team now, and that you guys are succeeding.
Yeah. He's he's a funny guy, 100%. He's literally the same kid that I remember teaming with all those years ago.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because I mean he's young now, but I mean when you guys first started teaming, it must have been like way younger in his career, and you've probably gotten to see him grow a lot. As far as his game goes, what is the one thing that you think he's grown the most in? Like what aspect of his game?
I mean, it definitely had to be game sense. When I first started playing with him, he had that like same console mindset of like anyone on console that thinks they're like pretty good. Because I mean, that 0.6 be sticking, and they just think they can clip everything and everyone. And the brain just goes out the window. Like the amount of times I'd watch him just like swing things, and he just like truly believes that he could kill 3 people faster than 3 people could kill him. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And going from that to like the player he's turned into now, yeah, like that was definitely like probably the biggest area of growth that I think he's had.
Yeah, even his flexibility is like actually surprised me quite well because again, like playing on like that DSG roster for so long after, you know, he like you had two aggressive players in Timmy in design, so I feel like he had to fill more of that anchor role, kind of like playing in the back lines. And then watching him with you guys again, he kind of feels like he's got a lot of that almost autonomy to, you know, really go out and get the kills. And again, you know, in that BLGS final, I know that he had like 12 kills in that lobby. So yeah, it's just impressive to see his flexibility to bounce between both roles in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, we tried to, I guess, trying to still like get that in where everyone is playing their game and you can do whatever you want as long as it kind of fits into the total game plan of the team. So it doesn't have to be where, like, maybe someone does need to anchor if like we're just not leaving that spot and it doesn't really matter who it is. I mean, preferably if he's playing path, it's probably him because he's the only character that can be in one spot and then just be in another spot instantaneously. But he doesn't necessarily have to anchor or doesn't have to entry. You know, it's everyone can play their game and it can, you know, things, because the game's fluid and things are constantly changing. Someone might be in a better position or have better angles or whatever that might be, or a better opportunity. It doesn't have to be locked into one person, and just be pigeonholed into playing like in a very specific way.
And I mean, to that point, if we're talking about BLGS specifically, I was watching again, like I said, I was VOD reviewing a lot of like your games there in the end, and especially like the two games where you guys like got most of your points at Olympus game. You guys were just doing like an amazing job of taking so much space on Olympus, like really spreading out and just kind of like holding off teams where you were able to just rack up a ton of points. And obviously, we'll talk about like the huge clutch in the final game. Like, you know, with the math, if you guys didn't win that game, like you would have been
Yeah.
just 3 points or short of taking first. So
Yeah.
let's talk about like just in those two games specifically, like what do you think's like really clicking? Like what's really doing well, like in that BLGS finals that got you guys the win there?
Well, it's hard to say because I wouldn't say that we played extremely well. I think the kind of like the low point total for first place is
Mm-hmm.
indicative of that. It seems like the entire lobby, everyone, I think the best way I could put it is like everyone kind of played mid and we just played the best out of all the mid teams. And I think that's generally just, you know, how it goes in like BR. Sometimes you have a team that just dominates and so they drop 100 points or 80 points or something and they win. Or everyone kind of does well. So the point total is like there's like the top teams that are all kind of grouped together and have a ton of points, and then there's like a stark drop off of the teams who are just underperforming. But um yeah, I don't think we played amazing, but in the games that we got our points, we there was a bit of luck. If you watch our VOD, there's a point where Moist sends us, and I die in an absolute blink of an eye. In my VOD, I'm looking forward. I hear someone say that we are getting pushed. I turn to my left. By the time I had turned, I had taken 100 damage. By the time I had ADS'd, and I remember clicking my mouse, I had died. I had just gotten hit for another 100. And I believe it was Koi that had double 100 pump me with PK. And I was just like, oh my God, like that. What the heck? But it turns out it was just two of them pushing. And the reason why I ended up, I was watching all the other VODs, and Sweet had actually crabered Zainu as they were crossing to us and killed him for us. So there's like some luck involved because I think that if they were, because it came down to a 1v1 between Mon and I think it was Koi, and Mon ended up being able to kill him. But I think if they were all three up and no one had, if Sweet hadn't crabered Zainu on the cross, it could have definitely turned out a bit different. But it was mainly like aside from that, it was just like good decision making, you know, good calls from Mon for us to move when to move. We were able to apply, it seems like, enough pressure on TSM. We knew that they were the team across from us at the bottom of Barrow, and we knew that we had to pressure them enough to hopefully they wouldn't even push us and they would just stay on the other side, which is what they ended up doing, and they died for it. Otherwise, we had to make their cross to us as difficult as possible, and it was things like that, and the communication of speeding up, slowing down, who's peaking what, like when we need to do things that damage, like all of that, kind of like culminated into us being able to like win that game. Like obviously, the biggest part is we were on the best side of the zone, being able to just kind of walk in along like that wall, I guess, of the of bottom barrow. Um, but Yeah, it's hard to say because even though we won, I really don't think we did anything that crazy or that special. We were just able to, like, obviously, like, we made some good decisions and we're able to capitalize on that, and like Mon and enemy were able to clutch up the 2v2 when Moise pushed us and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it was just team play of us being able to like fight together, because every now and then, especially with a new third, things feel disjointed. Someone's pushing when they shouldn't, someone's not pushing when they need to. And we felt that a lot in scrims. So in those games, it felt great. I really think, like, hats off to enemy. There were like, I can't remember exact instances, but I do remember just saying like, damn, nice job. And there were times where he needed to just make a snap call decision on whether he needed to push or not, and he did. And that was like really great to see, because in scrim sometimes that wouldn't happen, and we might hesitate on, like, someone might do damage and he's on the character, he's on path. You hit someone for 100, probably should just path grapple and kill the guy instantly, but that might not happen. And it's great to go from like hearing it in scrims where we die and he says something along the lines of, I just need to grapple on the guy, and then we go into an actual tournament day and that just happens instantly. No one called for it, he just did it instinctually, and that felt like really good.
And we've kind of had like this, a lot of people since BLGS has dropped, we've talked a lot about the scrim quality and it just being not very good. And it's not the fault of anybody else, but it's more just the fact that, like, obviously it's not ALGS. It's kind of like a tournament that's going on the side and in between champs. But as far as when you finally got into that lobby and you were in there and you were, playing your games and going to work, did it start to feel like you were kind of back in that same situational like place of, okay, this is for real, this is for money, this is what we do?
Yeah, first of all, RIP our boy Enoch once again.
Poor Enoch, bro. I know he's so mad.
He's
I know he's
I can see the scowl on his face right now. He's just sitting there. He's just, yeah.
I just don't understand.
Oh, good. It's the ghosts and the machines, man.
I looked up as I was asking my question. I just saw a black screen. I was like, oh shit.
I watched it happen live and I was like, oh
yeah,
no, there he goes again.
If you want, we can just have you run the no cam. Jumbo, what do you think we do? Do we just run the no cam?
If it's just the no cam,
it was kind of funny when he just randomly spoke out of nowhere. It was like a voice from the void just came out and said hello.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just, the only tough thing is usually I look at you guys to see if you're gonna ask a question. Like, just try and jump in if you got stuff.
Yeah, you just jump in. Yeah, you're just gonna have to force your way in.
I'll time
it. But yeah, getting back to the question, to just the intensity of the BLGS, does it kind of feel like it's on that same vein, that same level as ALGS?
Not really, and I think that's just because in like ALGS and especially like LAN lobbies, those are like just the top teams. Like, granted, like every now and then, like, unfortunately, T-Law has missed out on finals 2 times now. Very strong team. I've been like interested to see how they're doing, because they seem to be doing, especially in scrims and like running into them in ranked with Karev, they seem to be doing really well. So it's unfortunate to see that they've missed out on finals twice, because I wanted to see how they do, like, once, because that's as real as the lobby as you're going to get is the finals lobby. But I would say it's definitely a lot more serious. Like, people are playing for real. There's a punishment or a consequence for dying early. No one wants to get 20th. People want to get their points. People want to potentially win, because it's a huge weight off, especially like our shoulders. Because we had to play without Mon the first week, so it was me, enemy, and then our coach Kapreem, and then we got knocked out, I think, in quarters, I believe it was. So it's like a huge weight to know that, like, I mean, I doubt it would happen, but if we were to, drop a dookie of the last 2, qualifiers, it doesn't really matter for us or for Moist. Obviously, we've already qualified, but definitely, like, in the finals lobby, people care. People are playing to win. Like, there's that same vein. People always talk about it where in scrims, people have immense confidence. Why? Because you lose nothing when you die. No one's gonna be like, oh, pull up a scrim, be like, oh, look at you, you got, bottom 5 in scrim, like, because scrim stuff happens, right? People aren't locked in or whatever. It's scrims. But in actual final, in the BLGS finals lobbies, like even quarters and semis, because it gets a little scary, right? No one wants to be that team that misses out, especially if you're one of the LAN teams. Like, you don't want to be the team that misses out of finals. So people are trying really, really hard. I mean, you can hear the tilt as well. I think part of the tilt that you can hear in some teams when they die early or whatever is because it is objectively an easier lobby, especially like quarters and semis, for you to be dropping stinkers. Like, you're a LAN level team. Even with like unfortunate stuff happening, you should be able to adapt and make snap calls and not get knocked out in quarters or semis. You should be making finals every single time as a LAN team, especially in BLGS. So yeah, once you get into finals, like you can sense it. Like, some teams that have that crazy confidence in scrims that would swing you, they would be happy to share a wall with you and not swing to fight you. It like that is still there, which is definitely nice because yeah, the scrims are, oh my god, like I miss dropship, like draft and stuff, because we, for whatever reason, were getting like, I picked Street Market on E District. I thought it was just a random POI. I said, hey, it looks kind of cool, it's circular, should be easy to loot, I have a balloon, whatever. Like, by no means did I look at the map and think, oh my god, Street Market is the holy grail of POI. So I was like, surely no one's going to contest us for whatever reason, because like it's normal dropship, getting contested by random people. Like, to this day, I still don't even know like the optimal way to loot that POI, because I've been spending my time just fighting teams off of it. And when I get the option to not land there, I don't land there. Like, leading up to that, I'll just like call Electro Dam or Lotus or something, because I don't want Street Market. Like,
What's your opinion on Old Town on E District?
oh my god. Did Reeds plant this in your head?
No,
No,
no.
just wondering.
No.
Oh my god. Yeah. I've
Some say it's
landed
a
there.
good POI.
I have landed there one time because Reeds took me there with Sweet, and he was trying to convince me and Sweet that it was the most goated POI. The whole time he's like, it's supposed to be great. The funniest thing was, I actually found decent loot there. I had like a all blue Hemlock, like a blue Bolt Mastiff, and like a blue bag, like good, like decent loot leaving,
Reliable,
especially out
one
of
would say.
that. But
Reliable.
Yeah.
no, well, I mean, Sweet
Sounds like we
was.
should have Reeds
But
on the
Humbert-
pod. No cap. He sounds
Humbert-
like just
Humbert-
a visionary.
But would you say
Low-key, I
Humbert Labs is
appreciate
a
you
pain in
putting
the
this
ass?
on.
Because would you say Humbert Labs is a pain in the ass because it's way too close, right? Humbert Labs teams kind of take a look at you as you're trying to loot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Humbert Labs team should just, like, part of their game plan is probably, let me just run over and slam this team real quick and then go back and take my gigantic balloon out. But yeah, I mean, Sweet didn't find anything. Sweet was like the whole time, you know how Sweet is. He was like, oh yeah, this place is great, I have everything. And if you pulled up a stream, that guy had like an ice cube and like half a cup of water for loot. Like, it was it's, I don't like that place.
Okay,
It's-
just checking. We're just adding it to the
I mean,
list.
like, what if I remember right? There's no balloon there, right? Your balloon is Humbert. Humbert is going to loot slower than you, so you're going to finish looting and stand still and count your toes while you wait for them to leave, so you can say, "Oh, please, Humbert Labs team, may I please rotate past you now?"
Or you run their shit.
If Humbert Labs loses to the team pushing Old Town, they should just swap POIs, and the Old Town team should just take and have Humbert. Yeah, like Enoch. It sounds like you have some bias, but unfortunately,
Yeah,
I don't think Old Town is that
Everybody's
great.
entitled to their own perception.
Yeah, we got into a heated debate last week on the pod between Enoch and Jumba, who were, Enoch obviously likes Old Town and Jumba hates Old Town. So I just wanted to get your opinion on it.
Here's the thing. Like, I'm an up-and-coming BLGS pro. Some
Superstar.
are saying, yeah, my second round and my first round exits were both very inspiring. And in my practice leading up to those two, I was like, I fucking hate Old Town. That shit's ass. I played it once in a scrim. It's terrible. It's like, yeah. And so I think it's the worst POI in the game. Like, not even just on E District. I think
Worse
it's the
than
worst in
Dome.
the game. Yeah, I don't know. That's
Okay.
me thing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I hated it too much.
I don't know if I would put it on the worst. And if you get into draft, there are POIs such as like Front Stadium.
Okay, well, I'm
And
not
you get
considering those things. Yeah.
but yeah, it's I
Wait,
wouldn't put it
stadiums
that
broke
low.
up in two in draft?
Stadium is broken into two, and you believe there's like Galleria, and there's like a thing outside of it, and there's like 2 buildings and 4 pills, and
Yeah,
that
they
is
call it
like
like Angel's Atrium or something like
I don't know.
that.
It
I've
is
seen people call it
something,
that.
and
That shit's
I
ass
saw it.
too. Or
I mean,
the
Street
Riverside or
Market
whatever.
has Street Market, and then there's like a back area, and they call it Back Market, and that is like its own thing. I'm like, bro, if someone lands Back Market, they're just griefing themselves because you can't rotate anywhere because you're gonna literally run into the other 2 POIs to your north, and the Street Market team should just be frothing at the mouth to come like destroy you because like in BLGS, I a lot of the times my assault pill spawns back there, so I just land back there, and the loot is very, very spread apart, and there is nothing there. If you crack me once, I will have used all my shield cells, and I'll be crying in a corner saying that I can't move. Like that is horrible. But yeah,
So
Old Town bad.
With everything going on with BLGS, I think the cool part about it, and we talked to Greek a little bit about it last week, was just the fact that it gives our pro scene something to do in the meantime while we're waiting for champs, and also it just adds more money to the pool, which I think at the end of the day, all pros would be like, yeah, that's what we want. We just want a little bit more, cash that can potentially go into our pocket if we play well enough. But I think there's also an element of BLGS that could be utilized in a very like smart way moving forward, which is testing out a lot of new things that maybe we want to try or could put into eventual ALGS. And I think they're already starting to do that a little bit with some of the maps. Is there anything else that you think they should try or that should be tested out in BLGS while you guys are playing it now before we get into champs?
Uh, it's hard to say. I mean, maybe like a legend ban system could be cool. I just I want to be hesitant on it because so I guess like now it's been a while, but the whole draft system, I guess I had planted the seed in Tab's brain a long time ago. It was the first London LAN, and I was coaching for ESA with, and the roster I think was like with Phony, Luda, and Cody. Um, and I had ran into Tab at the airport on my return flight, and we were just chatting. And then I had told him like we were kind of annoyed with it, but E36 basically asked me if they could land the construction building of at the time Frag West. It's just the construction building. That's all they wanted. They said they'd be so quick that even if we tried to kill them, we wouldn't be there by the time we get there. Like we would have to land on them in order to fight them. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was telling Tab, I was like, E36 ended up doing actually, all things considered, like pretty good. I was like, I wonder what would happen if they actually could get like a whole POI to themselves. Apparently, that was a seed that like sprouted into LGS draft. I want to be careful when I say like legend ban system. A draft ended up being like is like I think now like at the beginning everyone hated it and then now everyone like likes it and wants it. But yeah, I just don't know how you implement the legend ban system. Like how many legends? Is it 1 from each category, 2 from each category? Which not all the categories have the same amount of legends. So then like if you do a fixed number, then it's a little unfair because one in one of the categories could be 20% of all the legends. On another end it might only be 10%. So but maybe like a legend ban system would be kind of interesting because if it's going to be like its own thing and it can be kind of used as like its test, like the testing ground for things, I don't really mind that because I really dislike the idea of like really shaking up or changing the game right before like a tournament. So it's cool if there is like maybe like a 2.5, 3 month period BLGS where you do try it out, get a lot of feedback. You get to keep running repetitions of it in real time or with like real players, real everything, not just like on because like ideas can sound great on paper and look great on paper, and then you test it out and you're like, oh wow, this is dookie. And I'd rather have it be in BLGS where it like kind of doesn't matter nearly as much than in Pro League or something, or like at a LAN. Because I would crash out if they're like, yeah, we're introducing legend band system for championships. I'll be like, what?
Well, that was kind of like even my thing with like I was like even vocal about like being against the draft, but not from the standpoint that I thought it would be a bad idea. I actually like when I remember like hearing about it in theory, I was like, honestly, like this is like way more competitive integrity than dropping out of a ship, especially like forget about contests. Like everyone used to complain, and it was a real complaint that on Storm Point, certain paths of like the ship you couldn't get, especially like early Storm Point, you couldn't get to some POIs. Like it was faster to sometimes drop on gravity cannons to then take it to your POI, right? So, you know, POI draft made sense from that. But I was like, we got 3 weeks until Pro League starts and we just dropped this. Now, funny enough, I think that 3 weeks surprisingly somehow was enough time, like I guess for people to get used to it. Maybe not, I don't know, because like, you know, I guess we would never know what like giving people more time to adapt to it in like a scrim setting and then take it to Pro League, where some teams who have performed better, who didn't have maybe as much time to adapt to it as the teams who were able to adapt faster. Either way, like it's been a positive thing. Like you said, everyone likes it now. So yeah, so I think like if they have something like BLGS where they can use it as a testing grounds, it could be great. Like it's a huge opportunity. I mean, we are kind of seeing it with them already, like throwing in the different maps, and they've already confirmed E-District for champs, which I mean, if we wanted to even ask you about that, what did you think about that? Like champs is now gonna have E-District. Do you think that's like a good thing? You excited about that? Do you think E-District needs more time?
I'm like torn. I like E-District as a map when it first came out. I definitely think I don't think in terms of comp that it's better than World's Edge or Stormpoint. I mean, every map has its flaws, but I think it is leaps and bounds better than KC Olympus. Like I think Olympus is just a terrible, terrible map. And then yeah, I think the only map that I mean it would need work too. And I didn't get to play on it. I've heard plenty of complaints about it, but Broken Moon. Um but yeah, I mean I kind of like it. It's in the sense of like at the beginning I was like really upset because I'm really against like last this is kind of I would kind of see it as like a last minute change. I know I think it was in League of Legends, they like the pro scene was very upset with League kind of fundamentally changing the game right before a huge tournament, and they were like, please stop doing this because it's not good, because all you're going to do is watch two teams who barely have a handle on what is good and what is bad now just like slam their heads against each other, and it doesn't feel skillful. It almost feels lucky in a way. And I guess so that I was like upset about that. But looking at it in the framework of like BLGS is like practice and whatever leading up to champs, so we do get time to practice on E-District. I don't really mind it, I guess. Now it does definitely I like the idea of having like multiple maps, because as each map plays out differently, because we run different comps depending on the map kind of, and it's not like fundamentally crazy different, it's just kind of like one or two characters, but each map does play out slightly different, so certain legends get a bit stronger, certain guns are a little bit better, like things change. So I like that, so that maybe maybe you're dropping stinkers on World's Edge because the groups that you're in, the way the teams play out, whatever, World's Edge just isn't for you. But boom, you have E-District and you can make something happen. So you get a lot of points there. And I think that really allows for like a good level of like skill expression. I just I know that like they're probably announcing it as soon as they can, but it'd be cool if they just get, because like the way they announced it, it almost felt like they just kind of an afterthought, and they're like, hey dude, let's just throw E-District into champs. I don't know if I'm like disclose that, but yeah, like they're just like oh, let's just throw it into champs, and like it seems good, and like yeah, we're like 3 months out, so then and we have all this time with BLGS, so it's like not that big of a deal. But I wish it would have like felt a lot less bad if like after playoffs in Mannheim they're like announce it like, oh, and by the way, new map coming to champs into the champ like map rotation. Then it'd be like, whoa. And they'd be like, and you're gonna play in this like new thing called BLGS. It'll have E District. And they'd be like, cool, we get to actually practice the map. Then it feels, I think, fine. Yeah. I think like the biggest gripe is just how they announced it in a way.
There's still not an official announcement, I think. Didn't
Yeah.
Enemy just leak it in Wig's chat? Like, isn't that just how it came out? I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Like,
really?
I think that might have been how it came
Well,
out.
I mean,
Like,
everybody
guess-
knows it by
like
now,
everyone knows,
but,
like like it's been like talked about a lot enough that like it's out there, it can be talked about. But I'm pretty sure it was just like literally talked about in Wig's chat. Like,
Don't find me. Find Wig.
Yeah, no, it is, and you mentioned like right before Jumba asked you, but you like I really don't kind of like those changes coming out of nowhere, and it just seems like that would have been a really cool opportunity, not only for the fact of like just having a new map be in there, but it could have been really cool to just like have a video where you're like coming to champs, and then you have like the map and you have everything like there. Very similar to kind of how this season's going to drop tomorrow. We don't have a video. We don't have anything.
Yeah.
We're kind of just going into it completely blind. Like it feels like, it's one of those weird things that happen. But the other question I kind of have, and I don't even know if you'd have any insight on this, but are they going to run 3 maps at champs, or is it just going to be, are they taking one out in place of E-District?
I would imagine it'd be a 3-map rotation, and like if they're gonna maintain a 6-game series, then it'd be like a 2-2-2. That's what I think. That's my speculation. I guess I like you saying that. I guess yeah, they just never did announce it, and yeah, I don't know what's going on. There's no trailer for this new season. I have heard more from leakers than like if anything, the leakers like are they just like telling the leakers like, hey, just do it for us, like.
Yeah,
honestly,
know.
even the leakers haven't said that much though.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
leakers
They've
haven't
been
even
pretty
said
quiet.
a lot.
Yeah, I wonder if
it's-
that's what it like. Maybe when they're like doing the patch notes and stuff gets uploaded to their servers early, and then that's how the leakers get it. I don't know.
yeah.
Who knows?
I literally saw a tweet today. It was one more day till the new season, and that was it. And it was a GIF, and I was like, "Wait, to the
That's it?
trailer of the new season or the new season?" And then I looked; it's the new season tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a weird situation, and I could understand from the pros' perspective being a little bit surprised by it. But you would still say you'd put the other 2 maps above E District at this point,
Yeah,
competitively.
I think
of course.
competitively. I put Storm Point over World's Edge, and then E District. Yeah, I think that's probably I think that's the order.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I think it's. I thought when it first came out, it seemed like it made the most sense to make the jump into it. But like you said, I kind of expected a little bit more of like a little bit more of a hype up before we got that as well. So it is interesting. It is kind of a weird situation. We've talked a lot about BLGS and what's been going on there, but I also wanted to kind of go back to ALGS and some of the stuff that's went down with you and your team throughout all of the different playoffs. And I want to start at the beginning of Split 1 and kind of talk about, obviously you guys don't make the finals lobby there. And this was, I think, a few weeks before, like right after you had hopped on the show. You guys get there, don't have the performance that you want. After Split 1 was over, what was it looking like for you? Like, was there a thought in your head of like, maybe I go back to coaching, or was it always like, no, we're going to make this work as a team?
So there was like definitely like a thought, right? Like there was a lot of talk specifically like around me and my performance, and especially in comparison like to my other teammates, and it wasn't great. Like that's just objectively how it was. And there was a moment where Mon and I had like spoke about like moving forward, and I was essentially given the option to make the choice. It was on me to make the choice. I can stay as a coach or as a player, or I can move myself to being a coach. And in the moment I was like, this is a moment where I want to be selfish. I want to be selfish for myself, and in return I'm going to work my ass off and make sure that like Mon doesn't feel like a bozo for giving me the choice, and then I also don't look like just a total ass for making this decision and then just continuing to do really bad. Um, so yeah, that was pretty much how it worked out, and then I'm happy, I guess, pleased maybe with like how things went for like split two. Still not great. I think like uh there's like a million and one things. Like I still think I'm just not up to par still, and there's just like so many things that I can improve on and work on and get better at. But yeah, that to answer your question, yeah, that's pretty much what happened like after LA.
And there was a massive improvement, and we saw it here from the pod, and just kind of watching over and going over everything. Like I did some stat, like just looking at stats beforehand, 11 kills in split one compared to 35 in split two, just a massive jump in just kills. That doesn't obviously attribute to everything, but I think it is a massive thing because those translate into points. And you had this big jump. When you say I need to get my ass in gear and I'm gonna work my ass off for this team, what did that entail? Like how much preparation, how much time, how much work went into honing in a little bit more on your craft heading into split two?
A lot. I spent like an unbelievable amount of time because um there's like, for me, the way I saw it was like watching other players. I'm like, they are making, there was like a couple things to it, but like they were making calls or decisions that I either didn't see or would never fathom or wasn't confident enough to do. Um and so I like try to think about like why that is, and there's like is like two things, like experience, just like playtime, not just of Apex but other games. Like a lot of these guys have come from other games. Apex is my first game. I didn't start gaming till I was 24, 25. I'm 29, so it's, the Apex was like the first. I started playing a little bit of Fortnite, and then Apex dropped. I watched a Ninja, and then I watched Ninja play or Apex, and I was like, oh, this game looks better than Fortnite. Like, let me go like try this game out. And that's where like I started gaming, and because that like coincided with when I got like hurt from powerlifting. So I realized like, and even back then, like it's not like I was playing a lot. Like I was working a full time job at the time, and going to school. So I didn't have like a lot of hours. And even now, like I would say I have like a lot of hours in Apex, but like overall, if I were to like be put up against other people who have Apex hours, some of them have H1, Rust, Daisy, Arma, like a bunch of other games. They just have all that experience. And then also mechanics. There's like definitely time, like things where I just need to go kill this guy, but I just didn't have the confidence to do it. And I would just kind of sit there. I could watch my old VODs from Split One or whatever and see that. I just sit there like a robot waiting for like a command from either Lou or Mon at the time. And I was like, didn't have that autonomy, not because my teammates didn't necessarily give it to me, but because I just lacked that much confidence and game sense to like make the plays that need to happen. Um, so yeah, like now, like I would hope to be that, like be a playmaker like Faker. I don't know if you guys are League fans and watched finals, but oh my lord, Faker is him. That guy is, I don't know, literal Jesus. Holy, like his performance was crazy. Watching, especially the last game, what he did on Galio. Oh my god. And the casters casters is cold. Things that they were
Some of
saying.
the best casters.
Oh
Some of the
yeah,
best casters in
yeah.
esports.
He was saying something like, whenever you need someone to stand up and show up, and like Faker is there, like right after he had clutched up, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like this is crazy. I'm like, yeah. So that's like, yeah, it was a lot of time, and I still have a lot to go. I try to dedicate a lot of my time. I don't really do anything other than, if I'm not like trying to play or watch a VOD or play Kovacs. There's like almost nothing else that I do. Like the rest of my free time is the gym that is like my non-negotiable in the mornings, and then some time with my girlfriend in the evenings. But other than that, I feel like I still have so far to go that I don't think I deserve or like have like any reason to warrant any form of a break or like downtime. Like I just need to keep working. Like I know that if I drop a bad performance at champs, I'm going to remember every time I slacked off, did whatever else other than like working hard, and I'm gonna pinpoint that as like if I shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have stayed up late doing whatever, shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have taken that break. Like I didn't deserve it. So yeah.
And it translated. You go from split one where you guys don't make finals to split two where you guys do make a finals lobby and you get 12th. It's obviously not where you want to be. Everybody wants to win the whole fucking thing, but I think that does show the amount of work that you put in. And at the very end of the day, whatever happens in champs happens in champs. But I think what you proved to a lot of people out there, and especially maybe some up and comers in the BLGS right now, is that if you put the time in and you put the excuses to the side. And I mean, you called your own shot is basically what happened. You called your own shot. Babe Ruth, you pointed at the sky. You said, I'm going to get good. And it translated and you guys got to the finals and it's one of the best things. And I didn't know this before. I just asked you right now, but I knew watching throughout like Pro League, I'm like, Kim's been putting a lot of work because this isn't the same Kim we saw in Split One. It was massively different. And I have to throw a hand up and say I was definitely paying more attention because of Prize Picks. Shout out Prize Picks, code the Apex. But Kim overs were hitting left and right all day long. And I was like, there is some work being put in here. And I think it is a good testament to show people like, damn, like he put in the work and it translated and it showed really, really well. So I just want to commend you for that because we could see it. At the very least, I could see it from here.
Thank you.
My motives may have been a little jaded, but I did see it.
I mean, on that, like, does the like there was a lot of talk, like you even said yourself, like you guys had a talk internally, but then there was a lot of talk Reddit, Twitter, like about people like pointing the fingers directly at you, and then Prize Picks is an example itself. Like unfortunately, for some reason, the overs were always like 0.5,
disrespectful.
Right? Like this exactly right.
Yeah, that's free money.
yeah.
But unfortunately, Wyatt always gets his second pick wrong. Like the guy went
every single time
over 30 in two splits back to back. So
it was never Kim. It was always the other person. I picked, every
not
single
my
time.
fault. Don't blame me.
No. But like, does that sort of like those doubters like drive you at all? I mean, like I feel like I know the answer, but like like do you see that and like that drive you like to just push even harder to like prove the people wrong? Like almost you got like a chip on your shoulder that you need to like just prove everyone else like that you can be and belong to be where you're at.
Yeah. The way I see it, and like when people get their feelings hurt about stuff, it's like it's like one of two reasons, right? It either hurts your feelings because it's true, or it hurts your feelings because it's false. So if it's false, then like, what's the point? Like the dude, whoever's talking is just talking out their ass. So it doesn't even matter. Like if it is, as long as it's not like trying to harm your character. If they say you suck, but you don't suck, like and you're dropping like I don't know, I hate the world. Like no one's gonna point at him and say he sucks, right? Because someone would be like, you are just talking out your ass. That guy drops like 10k damage, like it's nothing, and like could solo kill a lobby. Guy's crazy. But if they say you suck, and you suck, and then your feelings are hurt, and you get all worked up about it, like what's the point? Just like prove them wrong. Like stop sucking. And I definitely fell into that for a little bit. I was like pretty upset, and then it kind of dawned on me. I was like, yeah, I mean, I do suck, and like that's why I'm like getting so worked up about it, is because it's true. Like I can't tell them no. Like what am I supposed to do? Like someone says you suck, I'm like, I don't have any evidence to prove otherwise. If anything, the only evidence I have just proves their point, and I'm just sitting here looking like the ass, So I definitely used it as like, yeah, I do. So, but I have this opportunity, whether they like it or not. I'm here, and I have this opportunity to do it. And whether people say, oh, it was because of a friend thing, because I'm friends with Mon. Sure, call it however you want to see it. And I can't deny that my relationship with Mon played a role and whatever he saw in me. So like big shout out to him for being such a good friend and giving me like that opportunity. And so I didn't want to squander that opportunity. So I decided I'm gonna just I'll work hard. And my way to tell everyone to shut the hell up will just be to be good enough where if someone's like, oh yeah, he's just sucking, they just look like they're talking out their ass. Um, yeah, so yeah, it was like a good amount of motivation. Funny bit was like around the same time I'd like started listening to a lot of like David Goggins and like some podcasts, and one of his things, David Goggins talks about how he has like a Rolodex, and for all the youngins out there and the Zoomers, Rolodex is like the old things, like literal contact cards were in a thing and it like rolled and it had like people's name and phone number and contact information. Yeah, David Goggins said he has that in his mind, and he remembers every motherfucker that doubted him, and he said he didn't forget any one of those words. In fact, guys, crazy. He would record himself reading the insults people would call him, like things that I can't say, and he would make like a mixtape, like a hate tape. It's just him repeating these insults to himself, record it, and that's what he'd listen to work out. I'm like, what the heck? And it's to like drive him to prove all those people wrong. Crazy. I mean, he talks about callousing the mind. That guy's got a mind that is made of steel, 100%.
Yeah, he is on a different level of extreme. I've read a lot of his stuff, and I'm like, if I could even be 1%, I think I'll be good.
Yeah, he is a monster for sure.
Enoch, in the abyss over there, do you want to throw? You want to ask?
I was gonna ask him too.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Enoch, but real quick.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask one why I kind of stole it, but I'll give you an opportunity to give us a little bit more of a breakdown. All right, so go into like that like decision, and then obviously you mentioned that like everything that you did, you were doing at a higher level. What did that look like in the day to day? Like, what's like the new schedule that you're working on that is allowing you to see so much more success than you had previously?
I mean, previously there was like kind of not a lot of direction. I mean, part of it was me just kind of getting in my own head, and I spent probably more time reading like the shitty comments about me and like watching just like not in a productive way, but just like watching my VOD or like other VODs of like me dying or something. And like it was just not like anything productive. I would just spend my time was spent on the game in a way, but not in like any meaningful way. It was kind of like mindless. And then now it's more of like, sorry, there's like, oh yeah, I got it. I had an eyelash that fell down on my cheek and was just like bothering me. Now it's like a lot more meaningful stuff of like trying to pinpoint what are my weaknesses and whatnot. Like now it's like if people want to talk shit, I like it. I don't even bother like reading anymore. I don't really care. If people want to, they want to. But currently they are a lot more occupied with like other things. So I'm not on the menu for hate right now. Bless up to everyone else taking the heat off me, I guess. But yeah, it's like I think one big thing was I definitely let my like health part of my life kind of slip, and especially like being older, I think I have to be on point with that. There's actually some good like podcasts and studies that come out basically like if you think about like the most of the time, like if you see older people, if they're physically fit, they also seem to be like really mentally there. Like their mental acuity is still there. They don't think or move slow. They still move like a normal human being. But then the people who aren't very active and are older, they move slow, they think slow, they speak slow. Everything is slower. And I think that even like at my age, I wouldn't like. I mean, definitely for like gaming, I guess I'm like grandpa to them, but I could even kind of like feel it. Like if I would just stay up late, bad sleep, not eat, not go to the gym, those kinds of things. So I had to keep that really. That's where, like I said earlier, like it now my like morning exercise is like a non-negotiable. That's why I don't care to ever do like a big pred grind. Mon actually asked me recently to do 24. I'm like, no, just no. Like, because that would then push into my next day gym. And that is just something that I refuse to, like, that I will not negotiate any which way. I will end my stream, go to sleep, wake up, go to the gym, then I'll hop back on. Like, that's how it'll go. And that there is no compromise on that for me, because I've realized how important that is to me. And then yeah, it's having, I think my mechanics have improved, but have like a lot of improvement. So I spend like quite a lot of time on Kovacs, and I've played a lot of R5 to work on 1v1s. That's helped a lot in confidence, especially like as I'd gotten better, and with my KD just kind of went up and I was winning more of the fights. That translated to in the game, I wasn't like scared to swing someone if I needed to do that. Whereas before I could see it where I just wouldn't swing. But yeah, it's a lot more like meaningful, focused practice on the things that I think I really need to work on, rather than, I guess before it was kind of like moping and just hoping that like the next day wouldn't suck as much as the previous day.
I think it also takes a big. It's such a crazy thing to hear that Mon kind of said, "You call your shot on this. If you think you want to step back and go to coaching, then do that. If you want to stay here and keep playing, I'll have you here." Has he ever talked to you about like why he kind of went through that with that kind of decision making, or anything like that? Or did he ever talk about your performance like translating from split 1 to split 2? Or did he kind of just trust that you were going to get there in the end?
It's been more of like a trust thing, to be honest. He's never really ever brought up my performance or anything. Yeah, I think the closest thing I could say to like where we have any conversation related to my performance was him just basically asking me, do I want to stay as a coach or as a player or move as a coach? And outside of that, he never brought up stats, never brought up whatever. Yeah, he's really just kind of always had my back in terms of that. Like, and like with him, he's kind of like, he works under the assumption that, like, he doesn't need to tell me like how bad I'm doing. I know how bad I'm doing. Or yeah, it's like stuff like that. Like he's just been very kind and understanding about it, and then had my back for it. So I like really do appreciate that from him, like as a friend, to be able to do that and look out for me like that.
That's got to give you like so much confidence. Like, we haven't talked to him on, we haven't had him on this show. But just like, I think that's my favorite kind of person to play with, is the person who knows that and they don't have to say it out loud. Like, they know you're going to beat yourself up about it more than they need to. They don't need to bash you over the head with it. I think that's like the best person to play with, because you both have this understanding of, we're both trying to reach the same goal. And so, we'd love to have him on one day and talk about that. But I think that's got to give you like so much confidence, like just to not even have anything like that brought up. That's crazy.
Yeah, it definitely feels good. And the funny thing is, like, it goes the other way. Like, I think he's got a little upset before. I can hear it in his voice. Like, if I bring up like something like, oh, like I need to die faster, and he'll just be like, I know. Like, he'll say I know in that tone where it's like, shut up. So it's like, it's kind of like that mutual understanding. It's like at a pro level, when something goes wrong, it's very rare that no one on the team knows what went wrong. It's kind of like if you're playing, 3-man ranked, and then 2 people do 1 million damage, and one guy, does nothing and dies, and someone's like hits the, how did we lose that? And you just sitting there quietly going, damn, lights are really bright today. It's just like trying to like.
Yeah.
That is Wyatt. That is Wyatt, by the way.
Unless you're the guy who's done absolutely nothing and then you're the one who rips out the, how did we lose that?
Yeah, you hit the
So that
the 30 damage die. How did we lose that, man? Yeah. But
I mean,
yeah.
we've talked about this before. It's not so much of an Apex thing, but a COD Zombies thing. 4 a.m. in the morning, we're trying to finish the Easter egg, and we're all wondering how we're not finishing it right now, and Wyatt's just waiting for someone else to own up and be like, well, maybe it was me, as it's Wyatt the entire time.
I didn't say it
Just
wasn't
die.
me. I didn't say it wasn't me. You know,
just
I
didn't
just
say it
said
was
we
him.
got to do it again. See, that's why I like playing with a guy like Mom.
See,
we just
he was
we
calling me out.
understand
He doesn't like.
we didn't
No.
understand it wasn't done yet, so we just got to load back in, and we get back in there and we do it.
I don't know
Listen.
how long it takes, but Mon might hit you with the what the fuck are we doing?
Well, see, the problem was
I got hit with that a few times.
Well, the problem is that Wyatt made me and Jayhawk think it was our other friend Kyle. So we're giving the heat to Kyle while
I didn't
it's
make you think
Wyatt.
that. I just didn't say anything, and Kyle did say
Yo,
something.
all I'm
so,
getting
yeah,
is I think Wyatt sounds like he'd be really good at Among Us. So
yeah, maybe. I was actually so bad, mostly for my mechanics, though. I think I could talk my way out of it, but my mechanics, I would kill somebody in Among Us, and it would just be plain as day. Like I just
This guy
walked
couldn't
out of
swipe
the
the card. He couldn't finish
room.
the task.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. That's a pure controller player for you.
Oh,
No,
man.
that's awesome though, and it's I think that's why your team is so fun to follow, because I remember the entire split one. I was just following Complexity like every single match. I'm just only watching you. It made it fun because I think the dynamic that you guys have had for such a long time has been fun to follow. E,
Well,
did
not
you
to
have
mention-
something else from the? Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Go ahead if you want to give it.
I was
to
gonna
E.
ask E
Just
if you
'cause, like,
want
we can't see
another
that.
question from the Abyss.
Drummer's got it.
Well,
Okay.
I was just gonna say, you talk about the fun, but I mean, like, you guys also have like the best vibe. Like, even like Germany finals, the walkout, you don't see anyone really do that much, but you guys you guys make it fun. I mean, then like you got Mon snorting lines, even when you were coaching, got Mon snorting lines off the book that you had there.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Or then like I don't know, just half the time the cameras shows up on you guys and you guys are just doing something fucking random. And it's hilarious
butt
to watch.
shakes.
It's always fun.
A lot of ass shaking.
It's just
we
it's
like
just
the ass shaking.
it's the personality that sometimes you feel like you want to see more teams have. Like, a lot of teams are just boring, like, to say the least, right? Some team will win in the finals and you just, sometimes you got to be calm, cool, collected, act like you've been here. That's good. That's cool. But we also want to see the pop-offs. It's just funny to me when I see a team win, just a couple fist bumps. I'm like, bro, you just won in the LAN finals right now, a game, and we didn't even see you smile.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we like the vibes.
Hey, I think that's I think that's like an important part of being like a competitor is having that, how do I put it? Oh, a perfect example would be like Dana White calling some of his UFC fighters like, needle pushers and stuff, basically meaning that they make the ratings go up because they have a personality. Like, it's cool if you're good, but if that's like all you are, then when you lose, then no one really cares. And like, it's just like, that's it. Like, all your entire persona is just being good. And I guess like if you're like insanely good, then maybe that's okay. But I feel like it's important to, it's just like being a person. I don't know. For me, it's just like I will act the same. The only time like when I like don't do stuff or like sound, it's like if I'm like tired, like leading up to BLGS, like across 7 days, like the week leading up, I probably had like 7 hours of sleep. So every scrim and everything, like enemy and Mon would be like talking. I was like actually getting annoyed just because I was irritated because I was tired. I was so fucking tired. My body was being held together by like enough caffeine to kill a horse and so much nicotine. And it was insane. I was just like, I had a Zyn pouch in, a Zyn pouch, a fresh one out, ready to like replace the second I felt my brain slipping. Like it was bad. I remember I like in one of the BLGS days, I dropped like barely over 2,000 damage because the night before I slept for like an hour and a half and I woke up and I was like, I took like 3 caffeine pills, sat there and I was like, when I feel kind of awake, I will take another 2. So I'll be at 500 milligrams of caffeine. And then I'm going to slam, like I'll slam a 6 milligrams in and maybe I'll wake up. I can tell you, I did not wake up. I could not. I was so tired. And then luckily, between for finals, like the Monday into the Tuesday, I slept like 14 hours. Something clicked, and I was able to slumber. So it felt good. But even then, like for a few days after, I still felt like I had like a lot of sleep to catch up on because I would just be like chronically tired. It was pretty bad. But yeah, I think it's just like having that personality is super important. I mean, like people like for UFC, people love Conor McGregor. Why? Because he had that crazy personality. Like people like the Diaz brothers were fun to watch because the dude would just fucking flip people off in the middle of the ring while bloodied up and then scream Stockton, motherfucker. And like, yeah, like it's like that's that showboating kind of like that personality is what some people come to watch. Like you could be not great, but people will like that. I mean, we had Nasky conning, E8 at Cito, and the dude's just
Jumping out of his chair.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Joe doesn't care, and you got Hardecki just coming in, thirding
Bro was
everything.
AFK.
Yeah,
He was AFK more often in that final than he was actually playing.
Yeah,
we had a discussion about that on this pod. We're like, where's the line?
I mean, I think that's like definitely crossing it because you're like detrimental to the game. But yeah, I mean, like when you win, you should be excited that you won. I mean, maybe you're just that cold and don't care. But like someone who had like a kind of calm, cool, collected persona that worked out was when Reject won. He just stood up, chewing that gum, just staring at the crowd. I was like, oh my god,
that's like, different though. That's cold. That's cold.
So that's what I mean. It's
he
like,
still felt like he had a pop off. He still kind of like that was cold.
I mean, he knew what he was doing, right? He like stood up. He said, "What's up?"
Yeah. He's mean mugging the crowd.
Yeah, he's just mogging the crowd. Yeah.
So when we're going Zins, you said sixes, right?
Yeah.
Are we going classic? Are we going smooth? Are we going chill? Because I don't know if the place you're in has flavors.
I have the winter green right now.
Okay. Okay, that's my favorite as well.
I tried the citrus. Citrus was all right.
Tastes like Fruit Loops.
I didn't really get like a lot of flavor out of it. Like it's like a sweet flavor, and then it's just kind of like there and gone. So I kind of prefer I like the winter green because it's so strong, like such a strong flavor that it sticks around for a while. Because I feel like, oh sorry, sounds like someone's just like ripping a drag race outside my window. What's it called? Yeah, like I feel like when the flavor runs out, suddenly the nicotine's run out. So my brain is like wired to that. But luckily, like the winter green seems to stick around for a while. I've been trying these other things called knickknacks, and they're essentially like little mints that you just put in your lip. They have a bunch of flavors, pretty good. But don't do nicotine, kids.
Don't do it. I was just wondering. It was
you were selling me.
You were just wondering.
Hey, I mean, if you've never had nicotine, the first time you put in, and I promise you don't want to go 6 or even 3. You might want to look for something that's like a 2. Oh my god, you feel it's like the limitless drug, and then that's it. You get it for one time for like a few hours, and that's it. It's gone. You'll never get that feeling again.
Never. I was just curious. Enoch, in the abyss, anything?
Yeah. So, what is your you talk about 500 milligrams of caffeine to wake up. I mean, obviously that's off like a 1 hour sleep. What's like the regular caffeine consumption looking like for you to get everything you want to get done in a day?
So it like depends on how degenerate I've gotten. Like it builds up, right? Because like obviously the caffeine tolerance builds up. Right now I'm like pretty low. It's funny because this might be a lot to some people. I'm pretty low, so I'm only at like 300 milligrams a day right now, like 400.
I'd consider that low for me.
Okay.
I would consider. Other people would be like, "Whoa, chill out." But I would. That's a respectable amount. That's very respectable.
So that's like normal because it's like right now it's like I ran out of pre-workout, but I have like a bunch of caffeine pills that I found. I had one that I hadn't even opened, so I was like, I might as well save the money and just take caffeine pills as my like pre-workout. So I'll take like 2 of them and then go to the gym. So there's like 200. Each pill is 100 milligrams, and then I'll come back and have like one or two, depending on how tired I feel, and that's usually like good enough. But like there are times where I'll reach like full degeneracy where it's either I've constantly gotten a lack of sleep, or for whatever reason I'm just like, fuck yeah, I'm not waking up, I need more caffeine. And like the upper limit I try to stop myself at is like, I feel like this sounds really bad, like 1.5 grams, so 1500 milligrams. um and that like limit I had from like my military days, because that was 5 bangs or rains, which 300 milligram energy drinks. And that like that's what I would be drinking to stay awake, and that's when I felt like, all right, this is like a little out of hand, like this I'm getting a little excessive here. So then I'll try to like, sometimes I'll go cold turkey, and there'll be a day where you should not try to reach out to me, because if I do respond, I might just cuss you out, because like it will feel like someone is driving a spike through my forehead. That caffeine headache is no joke. And I won't drink anything, I'll just suffer with the pain. um and then sometimes I'll be a little bit smarter, and I'll like step it down like a reverse pyramid. But yeah, 1.5 is like, I think I actually was ripping that like not that long ago. Pretty bad. I wouldn't recommend taking that much caffeine.
No, that's insane. Like the only time I think I had that much, like not even 1.5, but I was probably like pushing like 600 milligrams a day was EWC, because like you have such a long time traveling down there, flying, everything like that. Then I was there and like I never got good sleep in the first place. And so like the only way I could keep going was just with the energy drinks and the coffee that they had on standby. Like, and I don't know, I probably had like the energy drinks were small, but I probably had like 2 a day on top of like 2 coffees or 3 coffees. So I don't know. I don't know what that would total up in terms of milligrams, but I don't think 1.5 grams. I don't think it got up to there. So I can't even imagine that much.
Yeah, 1.5 is not good. I like it is like a flex and not at the same time. Um yeah, like hurts the wallet even with the caffeine pills. Like it's just like, it's definitely a lot easier to achieve that like with energy drinks in my opinion, because I'm like a big drink person. Like I always have to have something to drink. um Usually it's water, but like if I go to Costco, and every now and then they'll have like some random energy drink brand I've never heard of, and it's on sale, it is so hard to not buy that. And I'm just like ripping 2 of those just because it tastes good. I'll be like, oh, I'll try this flavor and try another flavor, and then boom, that's like 400 milligrams of caffeine, because most of them are like 200 milligrams per can. But yeah, it is a bad habit, but I don't know. It worked when I was in the army. It seems to be doing the trick right now.
There you go. There you go. And now we're heading into champs. I mean, obviously we've got BLGS as well, but champs, you guys are headed there, and that's probably the big one. Any different type of preparation going into champs, or is it the same as we've been moving forward? Just continue to have your non-negotiables, and then figure out all the rest of the mechanics and all that kind of stuff in the meantime.
Yeah, definitely keeping the non-negotiable of like the gym. Like that will just, I can't. Every time I've ever let it slip, it like the payoff, I guess, was not worth it. Um like maybe the only time I could say that I ever like really let my health slip, and it, I think in the end it was worth it for that temporary moment, was probably my pred grind, because it's how I got partnered on Twitch and whatnot. So like that had to be like the only time. But every other time I've let my health slip, I've felt like I just performed worse. I said it in like a Series Z interview a long time ago that whenever I don't work out, I feel like I can't play well. So like every time I go to LAN, every game day, I work out in the morning. Like that is something that I just have to do. And I know a lot of people say that they don't like doing it because they feel like it like messes them up. I'd say one, I don't think so, bro. Like you're fine. And then two, for me, like what's normal for some, like most people, is to not work out before they play. But for me, it is abnormal to not work out. It is normal for me to go get, and it's like it doesn't have to be anything crazy. So like on one of the days in Mannheim, I literally just jumped rope for like 15 minutes. And then that was it. I was like, yeah, that was enough. I just need to get the blood flowing. It doesn't have to be a crazy workout, but it just needs to be get the blood flowing. And a lot of times, like those hotel gyms have like nothing at all, anyways. So I don't have high hopes. Like, but anything like even doing like burpees in my hotel room would be like enough. But it's just like doing something is important for me. And then as I get closer to land, like things get on like as far as like what I do, a lot more degenerate. Like I like right now, like what this weekend, I have a friend's birthday and he wants me to come out to dinner, so I'll go. And like the weekend after that, one of my friends has like just bought a house and he's having a housewarming, so I'll go and like show face for that. But like had both these events happened, like let's say a month out from land, I would tell them both I can't make it. And so like as I get closer, there are things that I won't do and more time will be spent. So like whereas I might spend, I don't know, a couple hours doing Kovacs or something, that gets doubled. And for me, it is entirely the thing of like I am preparing for the biggest tournament of the year. This is like the last thing before the off season, right? I'm doing myself a disservice if I don't leave it all out there. And like when I was wrestling, my coach was a huge hard ass and he drove us hard and he always said like you should be pushing yourself to the brink of like that you think you're going to die in practice so that when you're like all rested up and you go wrestle for real and you lose, you don't regret anything because you can then walk off and say that guy was just better than me. Simply. Like that's it. He's just better than me. I did everything I could in my power to try to beat that guy and I couldn't do it. But he said, imagine that you like slack the fuck off and then you go up and you lose. Oh man, how bad is it going to feel when you sit there and think I shouldn't have, like you skip a day of practice and you lie and tell the coach like whatever. You're going to think like I shouldn't have skipped that day. If I didn't skip that day, maybe I would have won. And then the same thing for me, like this is if I every time I skip something, I'll remember it. Like no one else will know, right? Only I think that's the thing for like competitors is like only you as a competitor will know like all the things you didn't do and the things that you did do. Like everyone only sees your performance, and so like when I'm up there and when you miss a shot, like when someone clutches, everyone just sees the clutch and goes, "Oh my god!" But in the moment, I'm sure that guy feels, "Oh my god!" All the practice, all those like hours that I spent, it's just paid off. It just paid off huge right here. And then when you don't clutch up or you hit a generational whiff and have a moment, everyone sees that and you think, "Oh, that's so bad." But I imagine for some people, like some competitors, because I'm sure like not everyone thinks this way, but I know that I would feel this. I'd sit there and think of every moment that I didn't practice, every time I skimped out, every time I did 1 hour less. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling tired today. I shouldn't do it. Oh, I don't feel so great. I feel a little sick today. So that's like I definitely getting close. It like really close to to land prep. It's gonna be that way. I mean, like at boot camp, I don't like going out really, and like I'll try to like spend time. But when we were prepping for Germany, a lot of the times the guys would go out for dinner together, and I just stayed behind to play R5 and do Kovacs and watch VODs because I thought I'm not here to have fun or anything. I'm here to utilize the facility and practice without any distractions. So as we go up, I think I'm just gonna basically do everything that I'm doing now, and it's gonna just get like ramped up even more.
Beautiful, beautiful. We love to hear it, and we can't wait to see what's going to happen going into champs. Jumbo, did you have anything else before we send it on down to Enoch?
I guess we got two things before we send to E. I mean, first I was gonna say, yeah, that's all really awesome to hear. Like, I know you even talked about like it's cool to have like the weight off your shoulders and not having to worry about the next two BLGSs. But I think the interesting thing, I don't know from your perspective, if you'd have anything you want to say, like as a winning team. I mean, like from what you just said, it doesn't matter. Like you're still gonna give your full effort. Like people are talking about like Moist can go in and troll, like who's taking up the bounties to like kill and drop on what teams, but like you'll probably go in there and still take like it as serious as possible because like, well, what other practices are there right now that's going to be that level, like that quality, like you said, of those finals lobbies. So excited to still watch for those. More importantly, what we need to talk about though, at LAN, there's the top bunk, bottom bunk. Which do you prefer to play in? Prefer the top bunk or bottom bunk? On stage,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
bunk beds.
Not
You
bunk
can
beds.
answer the bunk beds question too. Some pros do. They think we're talking about bunk beds.
Bottom for both. I mean, so in the like, yeah, definitely bottom for both. Like in the army, I got into argument with a guy when I was in basic training. I was like, I'm bottom bunk. Like you can fucking deal with climbing. The big problem is like having to make the bed every morning. It is I'm too short to fucking make the bed up there. Like this, I'm short. Like I'm 5'7",
Same.
not tall by any means. Yeah, short kings rise up. Let's go. You know, but yeah, like definitely bottom bunk, and then at LAN on stage, definitely the bottom. The top gets so unbelievably hot. Something about like the way they have the light set up and everything. It's not as stable. It's a lot better than I heard than like before, but yeah, I just feel like the bottom is better. Also, like even something as small as like going to the bathroom, like the stairs are weird. Um, I'm like genuinely surprised that no pro has just straight up like eaten shit off those stairs. It just fucking tumbled all the way back. And there's like some emergency be like, oh shit, like this dude just fucking fell down. Because it's like dark. It's dark back there. The stairs are like kind of narrow. Like as long as you grab the handrail, I guess you're okay. So maybe that's why. But yeah, even something as small as going to the bathroom, like at the bottom, is a lot easier. You just go right out to the side. You don't have to worry. Yeah, but mainly it's like the temperature thing, because like even maybe it'll be different in Sapporo, but like all the other land, like every single land, every time, because I think I've been to all of them since like split like the year 4 till now. Yeah, it's just unbelievably hot. Yeah, even in London when it was cold, the second floor was just hot. I mean, when you have that many computers just running, the heat just goes up and then it just pools right there at the top, and it's just like not a good time at
We've
all.
heard that. It's consistent. Funny enough, some pros like that because they don't want to be cold. That's that. I think we've heard that before.
Bottom is the popular answer.
Is
though.
bottom the popular answer? I've lost count.
Yeah.
I've lost count.
Bottom by far the popular answer.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah.
But
I think it's just more comfortable. Like the ground
Sturdier.
ground
Definitely sturdier.
ground is solid because you're like walking on solid ground. It's cooler. Like I don't know.
think more teams have won from top though. Just throwing that out there. I think more teams have won the LAN from top. Like both of TSM's wins and Dark Souls wins in year 3 were all at the top. And then I want to say Rejects was at top, but I can't remember. I don't remember exactly.
I actually think Reject did win from the top.
Yeah, Reject might have won from the top, and I have no idea about SSG. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I
don't remember.
The angle was hard to see from the camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuses, Jemba. Come
I mean,
on, man.
I couldn't see us up there, but
You're right. No, you're right, Enoch. This is like very scientific stuff that I'm slacking on here.
Yeah, we got to figure this out.
that you need for science so that I know where to pick for finals. You gotta do all the statistics and see if there's even an overlap, because if two teams won from the exact same booth, I need to know what that booth is. So I'm picking that booth. We get to pick. Depending on if you don't know, depending on your placement, Tab comes by and is like, where do you want to sit?
Yeah.
So like if you barely made it to finals, then he's like, where do you want to sit? Oh, there's only one spot left. It's like the top right corner that no one wants to be in. There you go. But yeah, if you're like first place going in like out of winners, then yeah, you get to pick wherever you want. And I need to know.
Yeah, we need to figure that out. We'll get on it right now.
We'll figure it out. This is what we excel at on this podcast.
This is what we do.
Championship celebrations and
Championship
rating
celebrations.
logos.
Yeah. Rating logos as well. Rating logos as well. Well, this has been great. I guess the final question goes to E from the Abyss. E.
Kimchi, you've already answered the question I ask everybody who comes on. And so I do have the question that I ask everybody who comes on for their second time. And that would be, from the last time you were on to this time, what's the most important thing you've learned?
Old Town is ass.
That is just such a dog shit. I don't think we've ever had a bad answer to any of these final questions. And I think we might just have had our first bad answer to one of my questions. That is a true first. Well
I don't know.
done,
That might have been a
Kimchi.
top
Well done,
five.
well
I don't know.
done.
It's like we live in a democratic, nation. Like votes tomorrow, I think we got 3-1 here. I think you're a little outnumbered, bro.
I haven't voted yet. I'm
75%.
undecided.
Undecided.
Well, because I haven't dropped at Old Town yet. I don't know. I don't know if it's good or not.
I'll take your laugh as a yes.
Okay. All right.
But actually though, it's definitely just like, I mean, it's nothing new that I've learned, but it's just cool to kind of like see it be reinforced every time. But funny thing is like how like reposted it recently, and it's a clip or like a still frame from Go to Movie Whiplash. If you guys seen it, if you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. And then like on it says obsession beats talent. And the way I see that is the same, like just like a more like cooler way of saying that like hard work like pays off. Like if you work really hard and you're consistent at what you do, I don't think it really guarantees that you'll succeed. But I think not working hard and not being consistent in what you do will guarantee that you'll fail. So I would rather have a chance to do well by working really hard than not.
Beautiful. Beautifully put, wonderfully said, and it's been great having you back on, man. And honestly, like I said before, like I knew that there was something different going on with Kim over there. I knew there was something different, and I'm glad it got reinforced on the show this week because I think it's a great story. It goes to show that sometimes you got to call your own shot, and when you do that, you just got to make sure that when you do call your shot, put in the work for it as well. And I think you're a testament to that, and it's awesome to see, and we can't wait to see what happens at Champs. Thank you so much, man, for your time. We appreciate having you on, man, and hopefully after Champs is done, you come back on with the trophy. That's what we're looking for.
That would be, I'll have that. I'll wear because I think they give you like the trophy will probably actually go to like complexity, but then get like big old medal and all.
Hell yeah.
My chain. I'll get the ribbon replaced with like a gold chain. Just wear that around.
No one said you can't steal the trophy for yourself. That'd be pretty baller.
Yeah, and you would deserve it.
I think they'd find out pretty quick though. No, like the
but what are they gonna do? If it's in the background of your stream, what are they gonna do? Get mad? At least you got it.
Yeah.
All right, so what you're gonna need is you're gonna need an exact replica.
There you go.
Made up in advance.
What in the Indiana Jones? I'm out there like swapping that. Yeah, I'm just running away. Big old boulder coming down on me.
Hell yeah. It'd be worth it. Well, once again, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Complexity Kimchi, ladies and gents. Shout out to Kimchi for hopping back on the pod. Really is truly one of my favorite guys to interview, and I think it's just a good story. I think it's like a really, really good story to see like how he bounced back. And I was very curious to ask that question, like, was there a material chance? Like, was there a chance that he could go? And yeah, I mean, he told it perfectly. I think it's just like one of those cool things that that just adds another cool little fold to what's going to happen and go down at Champs. So excited to see what happens for the Complexity boys down there in Japan. Okay, boys, heart to heart time. Jumba, you go first usually. Would you like to go first again?
Say it twice. You didn't even say it twice. You usually go heart to heart time.
You want me to read it?
Heart to heart time. You don't have to redo it. It's okay.
Okay, all right.
Well,
I
look
started,
like
but no, it's fine. No,
you could do it. You could do it. Like we do. We might need it. Like, you want to do it? Will make you feel better if you do it.
No,
okay,
I feel good. I feel fine.
I'll quickly rip two here. One, I thought it was funny. So it's been pretty cool seeing Nicewig react to my BLGS runs like live. And funny enough, I was like kind of like recording some clips today. This is how I found this. I was recording some clips today, just make sure I had those before the VODs expire. So when I make my video, I have Rig's reactions of my gameplay. And it was pretty cool to see that people in chat, when he's like, oh, what POVs should we add? And like random people were like, Jumba. And it's like, okay, that's pretty cool that viewers I've never even seen mention my name before want Wig to watch me. So that's all solid. That's freaking So cool. Can't believe that that's happening. But then I also was wondering, I was like, I wonder if I made it into Wig's highlight YouTube videos. And so I went to go watch the one for BLGS1, and both times Wig was reacting to us, both of those moments made it into the video. I was like, whoa, both times, like we made it into the video. That's crazy. Like, we're even being put up on there. So then I was like thinking to myself, I was like, well, I wonder if anyone's said anything in the comments. I hit like a control F, and there's like one person who's like, shout out Jumbo, shout out Moreover. And then after I noticed there's a second one though that says Jumba, and he's in the description. And the description reads, let me quickly get it. This is the description reads, right? The description reads, Karev's Kraber hipfires are diabolical. Moist barely drops a game, and our favorite YouTuber Jumba dies to some goo. I'm being put on full blast. Top line of the description. You don't even have to press show more to see that shit. That's crazy.
I like it.
That's crazy.
I think it's a good move.
I actually thought it was pretty funny. And then after, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dunk. He used to be like TSM's social media manager guy. Then after he was let go from there, started a whole company called GP Media. They edit for tons of YouTubers and run and manage your channel. They even manage the Apex actual YouTube channel and do all the LAN videos, like all those Final Circles videos. That's GP Media with like their editors on the spot getting that stuff up. Well, they edit and manage all of Nicewig's channel. So I knew, I'm like, okay, Wig didn't say this, but like someone from Dunk's team said this. So I put it out there today. I said, Wig, I said, Wig, I said, freaking Dunk. Look, who's putting me on blast here, man? Like, who's putting me on blast here? That was fun, though. It. That's fun. The quick other one was we tried doing the Zombies Easter egg, the new one, the Terminus Easter egg. I gotta admit, we didn't finish it. We lost. And it was on me, boys. I swear. I don't know how the rest of the guys felt. It was playing with Connor, Jay, Kyle. I don't know how they felt about my performance there. They didn't really say much, but I went in with the sniper that everyone is calling like the best sniper in the game, because when you pack a punch it, it turns into like the scavenger from back in like COD. What's the map? Call of the Dead. So like
the scavenger, yeah.
Right. Like, so like it's supposed to be sick. It's supposed to be really good. But I was having such troubles clearing out zombies early on, and I've been playing a ton of solo zombies, getting like crazy high rounds and everything like that, and I've not sweat an ounce. I went to round 56 the other day, no downs, no nothing. It's like just cruising. When I play with 4 people, I felt like there was a lot less opportunities for me to get points, so I was like severely underpowered, and then I kept going down. And the only thing that I will say that maybe wasn't my fault, and I have to kind of review my recording, is that for some reason the sniper felt like it kept stunning me every time I tried to shoot zombies. And like I had PhD, but every time I shot the ground, I would get stunned and I wouldn't be able to move, and I would suddenly get hit. So I don't know if it was bugging. I don't know if I was using it wrong, but all I know is that because of that, I went down too often, so underpowered going into the boss fight, and I put out very little damage. I couldn't do anything. My second gun was useless. Yeah, and so I threw that one. It's unfortunate because we should have finished it. If I just used like the XM4, probably would have been fine.
Yeah, I don't usually report on things that are uncorroborated and like just not fully confirmed, but I did see reports floating around out there that maybe there was a failure because I wasn't there. I don't. I want you to, no, hold on. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. These reports from these bullshit journalists, they're out there saying, they're spewing this nonsense.
Don't tell me Jay threw me under the bus. I want you to know
I don't believe that. Okay.
Tell me the truth right now. Is this a bit, or did someone throw me under the bus?
There's no bits when it comes to me. I have no bits. There's no bits. I just want you to know that those reporters, I've condemned them and I banished them from journalism. But I will say they did say maybe they couldn't complete it because Wyatt wasn't there.
That's no way they said that. I believe if they said Jumbo dropped the ball, but there's no shot there saying Wyatt needed to be there.
Okay, just checking. No, listen, I agree with you. I agree with you. There was trash reporting out there. There was trash out there, and I just wanted to clean it up.
To figure that out.
No, that's a bit. I was just joking. I made that up all the time. No, I didn't even try it. Yeah, so I'll follow up. My heart to heart this week. I'm gonna go zombies as well. The Dark Ops challenges are kicking my ass. They are legitimately kicking my ass because I do them, I complete them, and then I don't get the challenge completed. And this time, it actually happened to one of my friends. I finally did one that I've done 3 times already, and then I finally got it on this 4th time, and it was you have to get all 3 weapons in your arsenal pack-a-punch 3 times with ammo mods and all 8 perks at once. You have to have them all in your arsenal, which sounds super easy, but in this version of zombies, you do not get points very easily. It's hard to get points, and you got to get 50,000, 50,000, 50,000. So you got 150,000 points that you're going to need for your 3 weapons. Then you need salvage, which isn't necessarily the easiest to get sometimes. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. And then you also have to get all the perks. So it was, and yeah, obviously you got to survive through all that. I did get it. My friend Kyle did not get it. I felt bad for him because we got to like round 48, 40. No, maybe it was 46. I don't remember. But we went high up there and he didn't get it. So we got to figure out these Dark Ops challenges because this isn't the only one that I've done that didn't give me it. Me and Jumba did one together.
Did you
where it
wait?
was
Did
hitting
you
all the
get it?
box.
Did you get it after you completed it? Did you get the banner? The calling
No,
card?
it doesn't say anything.
This
No,
is
I
what-
mean, no. I
gave
got the
up-
calling card, but
you
it
got the
doesn't
calling card.
it doesn't tell me that I completed it. But when I did it with Jayhawk, it did tell him he completed it. So I was like, okay, that's weird. So
But
like
you
I
got the
don't.
calling card after.
I did
like,
get
it
the
was
calling
there.
card afterwards,
'Cause
but
I did
Kyle
that
did not.
I have given up on doing them because they're so bugged. I did that one twice. Do you know how long I gotta fucking play to do that one? I did that one
Oh,
twice.
dude.
I've done the knife one now 3 times. Actually, no, sorry. I died on round 23 with the knife one. But like I pretty much gave up because like then Jay did the knife one. I was in a call with him. I died on round 23, and then he was playing his own game. He got to 25 and he didn't have it. He didn't
Yeah,
have it. And I've
it's
already completed the
frustrating.
knife one once, but I used nukes and nukes break it. So I'm like, I'm not gonna go do it again if Jay didn't get it, and I didn't get the
Yeah.
other one that I
Well,
did twice. So
what makes it easier, and I did this without knowing, you can pack a punch your knife, which I had no idea you could do. So I did that challenge, no pack a punch knife, and and then you can also get your knife to gold through the salvage. Didn't know that either. So yeah,
I got
that
lucky. I got
was
a gold knife out of a vault,
oh
and then
there you go.
after I packed it 3 times. But
There
it
you
doesn't
go.
matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. It
It
wasn't
is
given to
very
me.
bugged. It is very frustrating. But they're kicking my ass. And I would just like to say I am thankful and blessed for the opportunity to be upset at a video game kicking my ass.
Fair enough.
Because, you know, at least that's the thing kicking my ass and not like something else. You know, that's a good place to be. But that's my heart to heart. By the way, if you guys love talking zombies content, new Pack-a-Pod episode with our full thoughts on Black Ops 6 Zombies, as well as a very interesting draft that I won't get into right now, but it was a very interesting draft. I think I won. Enoch, your heart to heart this week.
I'm gonna keep it simple. Let's just keep it pushing. And then I'm also everybody. Since you guys talk about Call of Duty, I am gonna talk about the fact that in Off the Grid, I hit my PR of 23 kills. I dropped the 20. I had my previous PR was 19. I was gay kept outside of it, and that was with even like arguably like top, like I would say he's like top 2 a like Off the Grid player was feeding me. I couldn't get the 19. I was playing with my friend What a Week, who's like a guy who used to play Apex. He's now playing Off the Grid as his main thing, and I was playing with him. Didn't get carried because like obviously I would say he's like I would say he's probably a little bit better than me, but he had 16. I had 23. It was a juicer. I'm starting to figure out my like sense in my settings a little bit, bumped it up, and it's been fun. But in the grand scheme of things, just keep it pushing. Like, just keep showing up, put in the work, and then you're eventually gonna end up where you're working towards.
Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah, baby. Well,
Absolutely.
shout out to Kim for hopping on the pod. We appreciate Kim. As always, it was a great time with him. And ladies and gents, we've got some BLGS action throughout the week that we're going to be paying close attention to. We hope you are as well. And once again, we are getting closer and closer to LAN, and all the storylines will be coming out there as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. As always, we will catch you guys next week for another episode of the Apex the Podcast. See ya.